Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast right here on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel, brought to you by GamblersWorld.com and GamblersWorld.net. Saturday version of our show, which is rare these days, although me and Sean did work last Saturday when Jesse had to take his lovely wife out for her birthday, which I hope everything went well in that regard. But let's ask Jesse, everything went well with the wife last week when you took her out on the birthday?
Ross, I'm a lucky man. The wife didn't want a romantic dinner, just me and her. She wanted to take the kids out for pizza, and it was more of a family thing. She's happy when the rest of the family's happy. So it was really a night out for the kids more than anything. But it's always a good time. And, we're pretty tight here with the Schul family.
I appreciate that, buddy. And I saw the pictures and elation on everybody's face, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I always preach culture among our group here, not only us two, but Doug and anybody else, Chip, whoever we bring on. And one of the things that, when I bring a guy on the channel is I look to see what kind of family man they are, And Mr. Higgs, you fit right into that category because you're Mr. Mom sometimes with the wife working and you working at home. So how's it going, my man?
Yes, she enjoys, I don't know. She's great. She wants to go out and do her thing. So be it. I don't mind. I mean, but it's also good to just get out of the house. I do that sometimes. I get out of here. But the cleaning part, I'm not a duster, although I do my office. I got to clean this place up. And I did yesterday. I kind of moved some things around. But I don't mind. Listen, I get up, kids are at school. I'll bring the kids to school because I'm up first. And I don't know. It's you got to have a routine with the wife. You can't just.
It's got to be an understanding, too. It's got to, communication is key. Know what each other's strengths are. And I'm not here to profess. We're not here to tell you how to run your relationship. But at the end of the day, it's tough. It's tough in our business, especially to find a balance, because especially during football season when you're working so much, and you have to find some time for family.
I feel like I was gonna give you a rundown. All right, on this day, I'll do my little shows, and it's all right. Let me. I'll go vacuum the upstairs. For the kids' room, we have a giant room up there for them. We have two kind of family type rooms.
Yeah.
But it is with kids. I mean, my son's on his computer doing his stuff when he's not playing football. My daughter's just in a room talking to her friends. So, hey, it's good to get out with them. There's some, I forget how Jesse's, I think one son's a little older than mine. I don't know, right, Jesse? You got one older teen?
I got one that's almost 20. He turns 20 actually in 2 weeks.
All right, so I got 16 and 13. So they're I don't know. It's weird. He doesn't want to do nothing. She sometimes just wants to go out, me and her. Daddy's girl, let's just go out somewhere. I want to go buy some clothes or.
I hear you, man.
And Russ has got grandkids, so he's
I got one grandchild. My daughter's 38. She's doing very well in life. Couldn't have mail ordered a better son-in-law. Sean, the way he treats her and how he provides, and I mean, she does well too. I mean, she's a bank executive, so they do well. And you always want to see your kids do better than you, and I hope
that's why I try to get
the direct that she's on that path. You know what I mean? So, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. By the way, Sean won his fourth free pick in a row on yesterday's show. Just want everybody to know that Mr. Higgs is on a roll.
Yeah, nice little ruby there.
All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes before we get criticized like we did yesterday about talking about the Jetsons and the Munsters and the.
Oh, really?
One guy appreciated the Goonies, that's for sure. Another guy, he says I tuned in to hear some betting information. I had to listen to stuff about the Jetsons. Folks, it's the nature of our show. If you've been following us from the beginning, we talk about some personal stuff on occasion, like we just did to start the show. I mean, mostly we're giving you the best information that you'll find anywhere on the internet. I know that's up for debate because it's always measured on wins and losses. And then the same gentleman said, by the way, I give Sean credit. He does videos every day. I would like, please start doing videos on every Saturday and Sunday. All due respect, sir, you're not our boss. You don't know our work schedules, and I host every day. Okay, so that means that even if I bring on various guys, I'm working 7 days a week, and it's hard in my business. So it's not like we don't want to be with you 7 days a week. In any event, we thank you for viewing anyway. We lost Sean temporarily, Jesse, so I'm sure he'll be right back. Let's start with you. The Mets with Scherzer on the mound against the Red Sox with James Paxton. Start time tonight, 7:10 p.m. Eastern time. These teams played yesterday, and the Mets were up 4-3 in the bottom of the fourth with one out, and the game got suspended because of rain. Right now, the Red Sox are a -120 money line home favorite, and the total is 9. Tell the folks what you got for us.
Well, Ross, rules are made to be broken, but I do have a rule. I don't usually like to bet on games when there's a doubleheader or 2 games in one day. I just think that adds unnecessary variables that complicate it for me. So I'm going to stay away from the side. I'm going to look at the total here. The total is sitting at 9, and of course, we got some big name pitchers. Big in name, not so much in the stats so far this year. Scherzer, he's got great numbers at home, 2.36 ERA at home. It's more than double that on the road, close to 5. He's sitting with a 4.92 ERA on the road. Of course, Fenway is a hitter's park. It was a nice day yesterday, and they were hitting them out of the park early. It was a high-scoring game in the 4th inning when that game got suspended. You got Big Game James, or the Big Maple, going for the Red Sox. He got rocked by the Cubs in his last start, and there's some warning signs. His last 2 starts, 8 runs, 9 hits, 4 walks, 3 home runs. And like I say, hitter's park. It's a nice day. The winds are light. I can see some runs here at Fenway. So I'm going to go over the 9.
All right, Boston Red Sox and New York Mets over the total of 9. Yeah, Paxton's coming off 2 rough starts. Playing devil's advocate is 4 starts at Fenway this year, a 2.05 ERA, but he's only lasting 5.5 innings per outing in those starts. And to Jesse's point, home and away splits for Scherzer. He's been extremely good at home at that pitcher-friendly ballpark at Citi Field, but on the road, a 4.92 ERA in 11 road starts, and that's very uncharacteristic of Max Scherzer when you look at his career. And he's getting old. That's the bottom line. Still a very good pitcher, but not the dominant force I think he was even a year or 2 ago. So we'll keep it. When you say home and away splits, it reminds me of Lindy Ruff, who's now the head coach of the New Jersey Devils. When he played here in Buffalo, the saying always was, because he liked to get in scraps once in a while, but they tended to happen more at home, and he would shy away on the road. And we used to say that he's rough at home and Lindy on the road. Anyway, Sean.
Yeah, I got to say that the Buffalo Sabres had the best announcer in sports.
Yeah, he retired though. He retired.
What's that guy's name?
Last year. Yeah, Rick Jeanneret. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I should have known that actually. Yeah.
81 years old. He retired.
Another character for the Buffalo Sabres, Rob Ray.
He's the color guy now. Yeah.
So, is he?
Yeah. Right. He's been the color guy on the TV broadcast for years now. But good stuff, Jesse. Good stuff. Anyway, Sean, glad you're back, my friend.
You mentioned the Jetsons, and I was like, I saw the comments. So I went to YouTube, and then all of a sudden I'm looking for comments. I realized it froze. Sometimes it does that. Like I was worried if it was maybe because of the MLB. Sometimes when you do the Zooms, or even if I'm StreamYard, if I pop open like MLB and there's like video starts rolling, it messes up the stream.
And sometimes it's just a surge to your internet, and it makes it buffer and freeze. I mean, I went through that with Doug the other day, and it's never happened with him. And I had to re-air the broadcast by myself because the quality just wasn't that good, and I wasn't going to put it up to our audience. Anyway, Sean, the Dodgers in Texas, in Arlington today, 4:05 p.m. Eastern time. By the way, Jesse's game goes at 7:10 p.m. Eastern. The Dodgers right now $1.30 favorite, and the total in this game is 9. Bobby Miller for the Dodgers. He's pitched very well on the road this year, and Dane Dunning for Texas. He certainly looks like a different pitcher in terms of consistency and quality than his days he was with the Chicago White Sox. But it's not important what I think. It's important what you think, Sean.
Yeah, so this line kind of moved a little bit from last night. It was a pick'em. Texas was actually maybe like a plus 102, and now they're a little bit more of a sizable dog. But I'm going to look at a no bottom 9 at bat here for Texas. It's plus 150. We'll start with Dunning. Because I'm Miller. I'm not really a youngster. Sure, they're off a nice big win. He's pitched well. Okay, but Texas at home, they're I believe the second best, like across the board. They might have the second or third best batting average, but they're on base, they're slugging, their OPS, everything is one
they
or
average
two.
over 6 runs a game at home. Yeah,
fabulous at home.
Yeah,
and bullpen wise, now I got a bad game yesterday. The bullpen, I'm like, because in my little write up, because I like them today. I'm like, hey, I like the Texas today, a better bullpen here. And then I'm like, yesterday the bullpen comes in and gives up 5, and then look who they bring in. They bring in a guy with the worst bullpen ERA for him. He's the worst bullpen guy. They bring in a guy who had like 1 inning under his belt. He comes in, walks 3 guys, and gives up a couple of hits. Like, just terrible out in there. So you know what? I got Dunning, who out of the bullpen was solid. Then DeGrom goes down. He kind of gets in. He's like a 5+ 6 inning guy. But in his 13 starts, he's got 3 or more runs just twice. He's going to keep you in it. So I'm going to kind of take out the first 5. That's kind of like a pick'em area. Because, Miller has been good, and the Dodgers can hit, and they're also a first-place club, much like Texas is, and they're good on the road hitting. You got some pop. So I'm going to take that out of the way and be like, even if it's kind of a close game early, I expect the Rangers lineup to win out against the Dodger bullpen, especially since we got our good guys left here. We're not bringing in a guy for his second start and our worst ERA guy and stuff like that. We got our top dogs lined up. I got a good pitcher. No bottom 9 plus 150 is where I will go.
All right. So he's taking Texas plus 150 as a no bottom 9 bet. And you could find that over at Caesars if you're wondering if in case your sports book doesn't allow you that option. And Dunning's having a nice year. I mean, you little over 3 ERA. Bobby Miller, by the way,
this kid for Dunning, Ross. I mean, he was involved in a big trade with the Nats to come to the White Sox for, he's a first-round draft pick, and then he came over in another trade here with Texas for like the big. I think he was involved in another pitching trade. Like, he's the key piece of the thing, and he had struggled out of the gate, in his brief time, but he's kind of found himself down here in Texas. Good,
he certainly has.
Pretty good.
Yeah, he certainly has. 5-1 to the under in his last 6 starts with a 3.22 ERA and a 102 WHIP. I don't trust Texas's bullpen. I think that people got a false sense of security when they last week they strung together a 7-game stretch in which their ERA was considerably lower than their season average. But you have to look at the level of competition they played during that time. They didn't exactly face very good offensive teams. And I contend, Jesse, that if Texas doesn't make moves at the trade deadline to bolster their bullpen, I can't take them seriously when it comes to the postseason.
I think the Astros are a team to keep an eye on. I like their chances of taking down the AL West.
Yeah. Yeah, and you look at the Astros too, and we mentioned it before. Altuve was out for a length of time. Their cleanup hitter, Alvarez, was out for a length of time. So once they get healthy, that pitching staff is very good.
Look at JP France again. He did it again in his last start. We've been talking about him the last couple shows, and he's a guy to keep an eye on because you're getting him cheap right now. That the public hasn't really caught on to JP France yet.
Yeah. Do you think, Ross, and Jess, for France and Hunter Brown, like they're 2 young guys who filled in, Hunter Brown was actually going to get the call since they got Verlander out there. Do you think the innings are going to kind of catch up with him for a playoff push? Like, it's going to kind of.
Yeah, and I think they're going to monitor that too.
Because they have to make a move. Like we say that a lot of teams, everybody's got to make move you can't have enough starters, you can't have enough relievers. You got to go and get whatever you get and throw them in there. I'm a change of scenery guy. Like, I think if guys having bad years come to a better team, I think you're going to get a little kick in the butt.
Rejuvenated.
You're like, here we
Yeah.
go. Look at this, because most times you see that. A lot of guys
Yeah.
kind of get traded and go into nice little grooves. And
Yeah, I think with young pitchers like that, to your point, being that they're, especially if they're just up from the minors, it's their first or second year at the major league level, or I think that you really need to monitor them and also their innings, I should say. And also, I'm sure that they're consulting with their training staff as well. I mean, they got it down to a science these days. It's not like the old days, Sean.
well, that's the thing. Like, these guys, let them pitch, but it's like, oh, they make too much money. You can't let them pitch. Like,
Yeah.
I watched.
Remember what they did? Remember what they did to Steven Strasburg?
Yeah,
They shut him down, and they could have went to the World Series that year.
And he was never he was never really the same. I mean,
Yeah.
shortly after that, he was banged up for the rest of his career, and it was almost like he had a chance to win a Cy Young that year, or what. I mean, he was basically the best pitcher in baseball when they shut him down.
I mean, again, a power pitcher, right, Jesse? And I think you really have to be careful when you get guys that are throwing in the upper 90s and lower hundreds, and they're young. I think if you look at guys that go down in that respect, like Jacob deGrom, there's a perfect example. You need to monitor those guys. Sometimes it's unpreventable. The guy blows out a rotator cuff. There's no rhyme or reason for it. And it happened to Tommy John back in the day. That's why they named a surgery after him. And Tommy John couldn't break a piece of glass from 10 feet away. It's just that he had real good off-speed stuff. But
the way that they've changed the game and the way that they're way more conservative with these guys, has it prevented any injuries? Are injuries less frequent than they used to be?
It
doesn't seem like
I
it to
can't
me.
intelligently answer that, Jesse. I know that their method to their madness in which they do so, certainly I would think is much better than it was 10 years ago or even 20 years ago in terms of preventative measures. Now, whether that equates to not as many arm injuries happening or shoulder injuries or rotator cuff injuries happening over the last 5 years as a result, I don't have that data in front of me. I got to believe it's at least reduced it a little bit. And if it saves 2 or 3 pitchers a year, it's working. That's my thought, but again, it's not an exact science. You could be the most healthiest guy out there. You could take all the preventive measures possible, and a guy could blow out his elbow tomorrow throwing a curveball, so in any event, let me get to my game real quickly, guys, and then we'll get to our promos and what we got going on over at gamblersworld.net. And I am going to be looking at the Toronto and Seattle game. It'll be Kevin Gausman going for the Toronto Blue Jays. It'll be Logan Gilbert for the Seattle Mariners. Seattle won yesterday 3-2. I'm going to look at the first 5 total in this game, which is now 4. It opened at 3.5. Gausman, 4 of his last 5 outings were quality starts. And you hear Sean bring that up on occasion. And for those of you not familiar with the term quality start, other than what it's perceived in the English dictionary, it is the correct definition from baseball terminology is you have to go 6 or more innings and allow 3 earned runs or less. And that's deemed to be a quality start. And 4 of his last 5 have resulted in just that. Over his last 3, specifically, Gausman, very good form with a 2.65 ERA and a 1.00 whip. He's made 1 start versus Seattle this year. That was at home. He pitched 7 innings of scoreless baseball and struck out 13 hitters in that outing. Toronto, they're hitting, but they're not hitting with runners in scoring position. I mean, this is a team that scored 7 runs combined in their last 4 games, but they also have left 36 guys on base. The Blue Jays don't seem to be the same version of the hitting team we saw over the last couple of seasons, and they've scored 3 runs or fewer in 7 of their last 10 games. Logan Gilbert on the mound for Seattle. Great form over his last 3 with a 1.29 ERA, a 0.76 whip in 21 innings, which means he's averaged 7 innings per outing, and also 18 strikeouts against 1 walk during those 3 starts. Both of these bullpens leave a lot to be desired for me. And although when you look at their last 7 games apiece, the bullpens both have ERAs of under 4. However, what concerns me when we're dealing with a total this low is the fact that and the total is 7.5 on this game for the full game. Toronto's bullpen has allowed 4 home runs in their last 7 games, and Seattle's bullpen has allowed 5 home runs in their last 7 games. And for those of you who follow baseball and are avid baseball fans know that's a very high ratio for a bullpen in that short amount of time. So let's leave the bullpens out of the equation. I like Toronto and Seattle to go under 4 in the first 5 innings. Jesse?
I flirted with the idea of releasing this as a premium pick, Ross, taking the under. If I could have got an 8, I would have been all over it. But as you say, 7.5 is a low number, and I can see this game going to extra innings. I expect it to be a very close game, as we saw last night.
Yeah, and actually that total opened at 7, went to 7.5, and then 3.5 to 4. So I think that's more lined up with the problems with the bullpens in terms of their vulnerability to give up the long ball more so than it applies to starting pitching. But we'll see. But I like the game under 4 in the first 5. Sean, any thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, well, I want to get back to what you said about the Toronto hitting. Like, beginning of the year, I thought this lineup would be excellent, like Braves-esque. Like, you just look at it, you're like, wow, there's not a lot of weak links in this thing. You got a lot of good hitters. And where's it been? Like you mentioned, you're hitting with nobody on base. Like, you can't do anything. Like, somebody's on base, you can't score any runs. We talk about like crazy ERAs, guys a high ERA, but you look at his batting average against and his whip, or like, he's got a 202 batting average against, and he just kind of like unluckiness. Well, these guys are the opposite of that. They can't get, unlucky. But how long do you keep waiting for them to break out? Like, where is the breakout? And Seattle, with Kelenic just broke his foot. Like, I heard they might be trading guys after last year. Like, they're going to trade Teoscar Hernandez. He's an ex-Blue Jay. This game's kind of tough because I like Gilbert. Gausman's good. I lean under. It's a stay away from me. Toronto. If there's a team in American League, I'm with you on the Stros as probably the team you got to watch out because they'll make a move and they haven't played good all season. But Toronto's a scary one here because they've got Gausman's pitch well. Barrios has pitched well. Bassett's pitched a lot better. Kikuchi hasn't bad. Like, this is the team that you think should go on a 20-5 run at one point, right?
Yeah.
When's it coming?
Well, to my point, when it comes to hitting with runners in scoring position, a prime example of that is they lost the game earlier this week 2-0. They left 10 guys on base, and they had like 9 hits. So, either they're not stringing the hits together or I'd like to know what their on base their batting average is with runners in scoring position over the last 5 games or so. It can't be very good. Anyway, let's get to our promos here. And Jesse, tell the folks what you got going on over at jesseshul.com and gamblersworld.net, which we're all a part of, 10 great handicappers there. But Jesse's going to tell you exactly how he's been doing possibly and whatever he wants to promo.
Well, Ross, unfortunately, I gave out a couple half-run losses on the show yesterday, but I did hit my premium play, which was my AL East game of the year, the under in the Rays-Orioles, hitting 70% with Major League Baseball in the month of July. 70% is good enough for me. That's enough to keep food on the table in the Shul household. And we're looking forward to staying hot in the rest of the dog days of summer. You come see me at jesseshul.com. You'll be glad that you did.
Yeah, Jesse being hot in July is nothing new. It doesn't just apply to the weather. There's a reason why he put out that July and August special that you folks need to take advantage of. He's had a good history during those 2 months, and the majority of those plays are in baseball. So 70% okay with you, Sean?
That's okay because I'm melting right now. Another 1 and 2 day for me, honestly. I cannot get over the hump since the break. It is crushing me. But you know what? We'll battle. I got 2 games today up. We got gamblersworld.net, winning free picks. I do the midday money show 7 days a week. You haven't caught that, and there are some 80s references for those there. It's a variety show at times, but it's fun. You should come on in. And that's Twitter, Mr. Sean Higgs. Come give me a follow and try to get a baseball back on track. But I'm excited for NFL. It's football. I mean, I can't believe it's like August already. Holy cow!
Well, pretty soon the Hall of Fame game, and we get into NFL preseason action.
We were doing this last year. We just started with like college basketball when we started.
Yeah.
I mean, now it all says like, man,
were we doing football shows? I can't. I know I was. I'm just not.
I think
sure.
we're doing a couple, but I remember we drifted into some college hoops and stuff. I'm just saying it was a year ago. It goes fast.
Yeah, and this is the time of year for that gentleman who says, come on, guys, let's do a show 7 days a week. This is the time of year. Sorry, folks, or anybody who feels that way. But, we need a time to decompress. And yes, Sean does do 7 days a week, and he's a rarity. And you have an alternative there. When we're not on, you can go over to see Sean on his midday money and his late night show. And if we are, you still can go over and see him, and you could fill in on 3 shows every day. So, and you could participate. Audience participation is encouraged.
Chances are you'll see me in the chat as well.
Yeah, exactly right. So there you go. A lot of good stuff there, folks. Anyway, don't forget, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, which is the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel, take a second to do so. You're watching this because you're interested in sports betting. There's no strings attached. There's no hidden agenda, folks. And after you subscribe, just hit that notification bell and you'll be alerted immediately upon any of our Winner's Circle sports betting podcasts going up on our channel. Also, there's a like button there on the bottom, and we leave this up to Jesse to tell you what to do. But folks, after Jesse tells you what to do, just keep in mind, it's just a small token of your appreciation for the efforts that we put in. We do really, really appreciate some of you who are sane enough to give us nice compliments on our show. We appreciate that. This show would not happen without you. And then there's others, no matter what we do, we're not going to make them happy. And it's the way of the world in the sports betting industry. Jesse, tell them what you want them to do with the like button.
Well, no fooling around, in really aggressive fashion. I want you to smash that like button.
There you go, folks. Smash that like button. For Jesse Schewel, Sean Higgs, and Ross Benjamin, we'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. I'll be back on Monday morning with Chip Chirimbus, Monday afternoon with Doug Upstone, and these 2 gentlemen will be back with me on Tuesday, and we'll attack another week. Take care and God bless, folks.